In today's video, I am going to show you how to make continuous bias binding out of any fabric. Bias binding is a separate strip of fabric that you attach to the raw edge of your garment to prevent fraying and hide all the unsightly raw edges from view. You can buy it in many widths and it usually comes on a roll like this, but you can also make your own bias binding from your fabric for an exact match. First, you need to take a section of fabric. It doesn't need to be too large. Mine here is 38 centimetres by 90 centimetres. If you have scraps of fabric, this is a great way to use them up for something useful. The important thing is you need to know where the grain line lies. Your grain line is the direction of travel down the length of fabric when it's cut from the bolt. So if your fabric still has its selvaged edge, that's great because it will run parallel to these. To begin, cut your fabric into a neat rectangle. Bias binding is cut at the 45-degree angle from the grain line. So you'll need a ruler like this that shows you 45-degree angles. Align this with the straight grain line edge and mark a 45-degree line on the right side of your fabric. The width of your bias binding will depend on your end use. Look at your pattern and see what size is required. Multiply what you want by 4. That gives you your measurement. For this example, I use 1 3/4 inch. Keep this an even distance and mark all along parallel to your original line. Now cut away the triangles on the end. From this point, we will turn the flat fabric into a tube. To do this, we will match this edge here to the edge on the opposite side, going down by 1 line. When you line them up, you don't want to line up at the very edge, but at the 1 centimetre mark, as this is where we will sew it. So fold it back like I'm doing, make the lines match and pin. Go all the way down the line. This feels a little unnatural as you're in effect putting a twist into the fabric. The bigger your rectangle, the less strange it will feel. Now take this under your machine and sew 1 centimetre from the edge all the way down. See how you form this sort of rotating tube? It's got a natural turn. First, press the seam open. I use a seam ham, but if you don't have one, you can use a rolled up towel. Work your way along the seam. Turn it the right way round and you can see your lines now running round. Cut along this and you have your continuous strip. For reference, I got 4 meters here, so you can imagine it really doesn't take much fabric to get some decent length. If you need to press this, you can do so using a bias binding tape maker like this. You have the size written on the back and you buy them usually in sets with 4 or 5 sizes. This makes it very quick sliding it along with your iron. If you don't have one of these, you can still do it. Either fold the fabric in half and then fold the edges into the middle, or just fold into the middle to have it like the tape I showed at the beginning. Work your way along the length, and when you're done you can roll it up and store it ready for use. If you have liked today's video, please like and subscribe to stay notified of new videos. I create sewing tutorials for all abilities. Happy sewing!